What am I doing? Well, did I tell you I've got these amber LEDs, and the idea was to put them somewhere on the bike to boost the indicators, because as I keep saying, side on bikes are more or less invisible, aren't they? Imagine on a really dark junction or even a dark road, when you're indicating, or even the normal lights lit up side on, there's just nothing. The only bikes I've seen with plenty of side lights are Harley Davidsons and Goldwings. So I thought I'll find somewhere to mount these, and I've been umming and ahhing. That's why they've been in the drawer for a while. And had these old chrome brackets, which are meant to be for spotlights. These are open-ended, which fit inside some thicker chrome brackets, you know, to double it up and grip on a chrome bar. I got them years ago when I had my custom X4. I had spotlights on that, but ended up using a different clamp. Anyway, what I've been doing, took the headlight shell off, which was easier than I thought, because it's only 2 screws, but because it had never been off before, I thought it might be stiff. I found the original wiring for that original set of wraparound heated grips, and I touched the bloody, well, you know, there's a fold over clamp, so I pulled it out, and the bloody little fuse box holder thing just snapped because it was brittle plastic, due to being so old probably. But because it's not powering heated grips anymore, and just these lights, I've just stripped back the insulation, twisted it together, and doesn't need a fuse, I don't think. Not need a fuse for lights, weak lights, does it? Yeah, and anyway, these indicators, I've tapped off the indicator wires are just little original bullets, connectors like that, only smaller. So all you do, if you're wondering how to do it, if you haven't done it before, if you're going to do something similar, just pull the bullet thing out, put your wire in there, because there's a hole in the end, can you see? Bend the wire back, and then feed it back in the socket. It'll be a bit of a tighter squeeze, but it's a really good way of doing it without faffing around soldering or snipping things off. You know, utilise a hole. Right, I've just tested it. I was going to film everything, but I'm not faffing around in the backyard for ages. In fact, I might leave this. I'm off work Tuesday to Friday. In fact, I should be, what time is it? 3:15. I should be going to Morrison's for some grub. The battery's going in that. Anyway, I'll just show you what's happened. I thought it might overload the system. I was a bit worried, because on eBay these say 10 watts. I know that with that bleeper and that it's going to overload the system, but seems fine. Does that look bright at that angle? It's actually a lot, you see, a lot brighter down below. And that's mounted on the radiator grill. It's 2 bolts, 2 button head Allen bolts, loosened it, pushed that in the gap, twisted it so that I can get access to that bolt with my Allen key, tighten it up, and it's sort of there. I just wonder, will the heat generated from the radiator start to fry it? I could insulate it with some of that foam tape, which will also make it stick better. You don't want to be overloading this, the threads on the radiator. I think it's aluminium, it's steel. Anyway, that's where it's going. So can you see? Side lights on the bike. Have I invented something? Is it legal? Well, cars have them, so it's not illegal, surely. Does he look yellow on the camera? I think all they do is colour them in, because you can get 5 different colours including green and blue, and I think you just put an amber pigment, a yellow pigment to make the colour. And if the blue ones are the same. I can imagine blue and green looking crap, but the red and white ones are fine. And this seems to work. Actually, I've just done a rough connection for now. And I've tapped off the air supply for the indicators. That was a bit fiddly because whoever's wired them heater grips in before has used the earth off. They haven't overloaded the system, because powering heated grips requires a good strong circuit, not off the bloody indicators, or I'm not sure what they've used for the positive power. But like I said, that's by the by, because the powering, that little switch is powering the lights now, not heated grips. And these new heated grips are coming straight from the battery. Right, so like I said, that's the wiring. I'll do the other side. The wires can be hidden, like these cob-like wires, behind this radiator with another. I'll take that off, the tie wire thing, and put some more on. That's the cable I used. Fasten it to that, tidy it all up. Invisible cable, as it goes through the radiator holes. Well, you know, the radiator grill holes. So there we are, it works, and it's not overloading the system. Cob lights, visibly. So there we are, that's what I've been doing today. I'll put the headlight shell back on, now I know it works. And leave it for a warmer day. I was joking to Hepcat Harley, I think I'll leave it till next year, April. But it's done now, more or less. Half of the job's done. I just don't feel well enough to stay any longer in the backyard. Right, so hopefully that will go on. Sort of easily. It's just a question of matching the holes up. So, screwdriver bits. Right, I'm not going to can't do that with my helmet on. So there we are. Very easy little job. And very effective, I think. Be seen, be safe. I could have mounted it somewhere else. I could have put a proper bracket on here, but as my legs and knees are here, I wanted it to be seen. So there we are. As this is a short upload, I've just been watching an old VHS tape, 1997, a vintage run. And it starts off a bit dull because it's pissing down June 22nd, and it's just torrential rain down in Lyme Regis, vintage motorbikes. So I thought I might upload that if it doesn't get a copyright warning. We'll see, won't we? Sort of interesting. And sadly, a lot of those old chaps in it will be no longer with us. Nearly 20 years ago. In fact, 1997 in March, that's when I was on television. On Men and Motors. So there we are, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Right, it's Sunday morning and we're down at the charming little seaside town of Lyme Regis. This is the time of day when most people are at home having their fried breakfast, enjoying their Sunday paper, but the members of the Weston Classic Motorcycle Club are down here ready to start their annual Coast to Coast. The Coast to Coast run is an annual event and we leave here with bikes built from the 1920s right the way up into the around about 1960. 350 odd in all, and we should be on the road from here up through Yeovil and Wells, doing some stops there, ending up at Weston Super Mare. Wishes all the luck with the weather. There's a lot of enthusiasts and a lot of enthusiasm here. We're on the way. Well, the marshals are ready, and from now till 10 o'clock the bikes will come rolling in. Here's a charming old new Imperial that's come a long way. Some of these riders have ridden many, many miles to do the start of this run, but of course a few, they did have bed and breakfast in Lyme Regis and a very pleasant evening in the pub opposite the start. There's another famous British name, look, Scott. That wonderful two-stroke engine that went on unchanged for many, many years. Still capable of doing a long run today, I'm sure. Another interesting machine here, a featherbed Norton. Very famous racing frame. And of course, Triumphs. We've got to see the Triumphs, haven't we? Because they've been produced in their thousands ever since the rest of the British bikes just laid down to rest. What a shame that was. But here is a day today when we can renew our enthusiasm by seeing those great names that made this country so famous. Very well organised run this. It's been going on enough years now for all the marshals and organisers to get it really up together. It really is a credit to them. Not only vintage bikes, but the old vintage Mark 8 goggles on there, the sight that we saw so often back in our old motorcycling days. And here's a nice Norton Commando coming into the start now. Really is wonderful, especially to me, to hear the different sounds from the two strokes, the twins, the singles, and even the fours as they make their way to the start. One of the sweetest of all the twins to match this. Weather doesn't look too good. It'll take more than a drop of rain to daunt these hardened old bikers. There's Tony Haywood. He's the secretary of it all, and what a job he's had. We'll have a chat to him later on. There's no V-twin AJS there that I followed all the way down this morning. And here the new Imperial, in need of a few minor adjustments. Look at that, 1937, looks like he's just come out of the showroom. That's enthusiasm for you. The name of AJS on the last badge they used. The name of Triumph, of course, pops up pretty regularly. They've been producing bikes right up into the very day, and what a nice bike they produce now. But of course, names like this and many others are among the 40-odd manufacturers that manufactured bikes in the 1930s. Note the ladies showing enthusiasm today. This is no man's day out. A lot of ladies come along, not only as passengers, but to ride as well. Here's the arrival of a very attractive machine, well-known Ariel Square 4. And who would be happier than the person who owned this machine back in the 50s and 60s the Gold Flash, the BSA A10 combination there. I did all my family motoring in the early days with a combination. We couldn't afford cars, and what's more, not many of us really wanted one. Nice feeling of relief as you arrive down at Lyme Regis, having ridden a fair few miles to get there. And then all the hubbub starts, and all the enthusiasts having a chat together, and the marshals getting it all sorted out, and everyone waiting for the start. It's quite an exciting period. Very interesting little bike here, controversial in its day, but turned out to be a good one, the aerial leader. Not all youngsters here today either. You can see the enthusiasm here in people not only in their 20s but going right up into the 70s. There's Jim Hastelow, and there's Jerk in there, sorting out a few early problems. And the arrival of the oldest machine on the road, number 1. Well, who could be happier than a man riding a big Vincent 1000 today? Should be a relatively easy run for a big machine like that. A true classic. Right down to the last little side bulb that BSA'd ever produced, the C10L. It's an attractive area for the start. It's right along the promenade, and you put your bike on the stand, hoping it doesn't run forward down onto the sands. But I don't think we've had any problems so far like that. But they're right on the beach side of Lyme Regis, and unfortunately we didn't have the sun to greet us this year. But you can't have everything, can you? You got the smell and the sound of an old bike, well, what else do you want? The line-up certainly looking up now, and looking by the puddles, so's the rain building up too. The enthusiast there, that not only on this run, looks like he competed in the Spirit of the 60s a few weeks ago. Another well-known local motorcycle run. And of course the mayor of Lyme Regis, he's turned out together with his man there, the town crier, to see everybody off, despite what has turned out now to be pouring wet.
Oh yay! Oh yay! Oh yay! On this day, the 22nd day of June, in the year 1997, the Westland Motorcycle Club will celebrate their 12th anniversary with the annual Coast to Coast Run.
And so it's the off. Number 1 chugging away on that old V-twin into the wet. And we were greeted at the start with not only the town crier, but a horrendous storm. But it didn't damp any enthusiasm, not even from the people who come to watch. Of course, if you're togged up to ride on a motorbike, you're pretty waterproof, provided it doesn't go on too long. So let's keep our fingers crossed. And let's listen now as these old timers pull away from the start. And off we go up through the town of Lyme Regis. Eventually out onto the main road into the county of Devon. What do you call a lot of motorcyclists? A gaggle, I suppose you could call them. Out on the main road with bags of enthusiasts to watch them, despite the weather, as we said before. That doesn't bother them. And the good old marshals who never let us down, telling us just which way to turn. Marshals now heading on for their further points. They really work hard and do a great mileage. And what a good team of volunteers they are. Full marks for the marshals on a run like this. And of course full marks for the riders. Let's listen to them in a minute as they take this corner. And you will hear those different sounds of the old British machinery. The sound that we all love so much. Now we're in the town of Axminster, negotiating our way through the town, still in the wet, but it's looking a little bit brighter all around, and things are looking good. So far everybody's behaved themselves well. They do, they're good mature riders. This is not a race, this is an event when you go along and enjoy the company of other motorcyclists. But no run is without the occasional snag. No need to call for the man who can here. It's a do-it-yourself job with this puncture.
Oh, you already got the velvet. Yeah. Yeah.
What we want to see is the pressure gauge going up.
Yeah.
Well, after an extremely wet start down at Lyme Regis, we've now arrived at Weston Social Club car park. This is the home of the classic club that's organising this event. We've all been in and had a coffee and a sticky bun, and now it's time to stroll around and see if we can find a bike or a person of interest to have a chat to.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh. Are they going to talk to you? Well, that's not. No.
Yeah, well, this is a rather a rare machine for the run. There aren't many of these. This is a 250 Panther. I believe you said 1936. You had it very long.
It's been in the family since new.
Has it really? That's interesting. And where did you ride it from this morning?
Well, I started off from Sparkford,
Yeah?
and then went to Lyme Regis, and on the way back to Weston now, obviously.
Not a very good send-off down there this morning with the weather.
No, that's true. I've known worse.
That's good. And this has been registered in your name since new, or in the family?
In my father's name.
That's great.
For the first 40 years, and then I took it over from him.
That's great. And
It needs a repainting now, but it's going well.
well, that's sometimes a shame to repaint, I think, because if you've got a bit of originality about them, I think that looks good. And you come to a stage sometimes when you don't quite know what to do. But you say 1936, I bet when they built this bike, they never thought it'd be doing a run here sort of 60 odd years on, did they?
It was referred to as grey porridge in one of the magazines years ago.
No, but
But it lasts very well.
porridge is good for a good old mainstay, and that's what the bike is. Well, thanks very much.
Okay, thanks.
Well, now our intrepid cameraman has decided to take to the road, this time really on the run in a sidecar. Tacked on the side of a lovely old Sunbeam Lion. More about that later. And here we are in Yeovil, up on the Preston Road, trying to get out in the busy morning's traffic. Right in the sound and the smell of those beautiful old machines. Well, we head along here to the lights. That's my good self with my dear daughter-in-law just in front there on the B31 BSA. The rain has now stopped, so she's decided to get aboard and have a ride to Weston Super Mare. Wish us luck. Upon reaching the traffic lights in Preston Road, we turn left on the long climb up Larkhill Road. We'll have a chance again then to watch and listen to some of these marvellous machines. And what a wonderful sight to see shadows on the road in the blue sky up there. A very welcome sight, I can assure you. Here we come again. The old B31 is sounding good, isn't it? Right along Thorn Lane. Now we get a glimpse across at the immaculate finish on that old Sunbeam motorcycle. Sunbeams were also the producers of a very well-known lacquer back in their factory days, and that lacquer was advertised by being put onto the motorbikes. They didn't bother even with chrome rims in many cases. Everything was done with this glorious black that's never been beaten. A real class machine was the old Sunbeam, and you'll get used to the steady putt-putt of that 600cc side valves that pulls along with that sidecar throughout this run, as far as Wells anyway. Nice view of another famous make there, Norton's. Nobody made a better handling bike than Norton. That probably includes the bikes that are built today. Noted for their road holder frames and their featherbed frame. And there's another wonderful old bit of machinery there, the BSE Sloper. Two of them, look. Well, what a day this is for the enthusiast to go bike spotting. Well, we're leaving Yeovil now, heading towards the village of Budford. Taking our time through here, well known for its speed cameras. Majority of the bikes on this run were cruising on about 40-45 mile an hour. It's quite a gentle run. It's a fairly long one, so you just like to preserve the old machinery and enjoy the ride. Especially now the rain stopped. You can't compare these bike performances with the modern vehicles, the modern cars, but something that the modern machines and cars won't give you is the the gentle comfort of sitting there, sitting back on your bike, and you can even hear the birds as you go along and smell the hedgerows. It's an atmosphere that's unequaled. Once a biker, it never goes out of your system. It's a beautiful English countryside, now in the village of Sparkford, the home of the very well-known Haynes motorcycle and car manuals. Just coming past their factory now. And as they turn left onto the road towards Castlecary, they'll go past the Haynes Museum. And over in that museum are still many more bikes, all immaculately prepared, but cold. Out here the bikes are just a little bit dirtier, but they're warm and they're working. So no time to stop at the museum. This is a museum on the move today. Having passed Castlecary, we're now near Evercreech, on the way towards the town of Shepton Mallet. Little BSA Bantam going well, 123cc, one of the most popular go-to-work bikes in the 50s. The design was taken from the German DKW design and put into very good use, and the run of Bantams went on for many, many years. That is one of the old original D1 Bantam. And in his home county with a registration of LYA, that being the Somerset registration. And we've overtaken number one. A 1922 machine, but still going strong. The owners, of course, are the organisers of the Somerset section of the Vintage Motorcycle Club. And now we arrive for a well-earned lunch stop in the beautiful city in the heart of Somerset, Wells. What more lovely setting could we have for this array of machinery than in the cobbled marketplace, under the shadow of the cathedral. And here they come, echoing down through the narrow streets. Many people coming out to see them today. All those many makes, many riders, all enjoying themselves, glad the rain has stopped. There's a bike there carrying a fire extinguisher, but that really was an AFS machine. The old matchless there. Followed by the good old plotter of the British Society, the M21, the SA sidewall. Not a fast machine, but very, very reliable. Everybody looking forward to their stop now, where they've BSAs and Velocets. All they've got in mind now is not to make it a bike, but a cup of coffee and a few sandwiches. Oh, now we're in that beautiful cathedral city of Wells. The sun is shining once again, and I'm chatting to Brian, who's done a stalwart job for us this morning. He actually took our cameraman in the sidecar here. No trouble to you, Brian?
No trouble whatsoever.
I'm glad of that.
He kept that sidecar down very, very well.
I'm sure he had a very good reason for why. I like this combination. I had a look at it down at Lyme. It's an old Sunbeam, and of course Sunbeams were, as you said just now, the
Gentleman's machine.
Gentleman's machine. This is a 600 sideball.
Yes, 1932.
And it's a lion, as we see, well advertised on here.
Sunbeam
Go
lion.
and show them all. That's lovely. How long have you had this one?
I've had this one since about 1976. And I used to ride it solo. And then my wife, she gave up riding on the back of motorcycles years ago.
Yeah, they
So, yes, so she said she didn't feel safe. So I thought the only thing is now to get a sidecar. And I spent 18 months doing the sidecar. I nearly gave up, it was in such a bad condition, but there again, I finished it, and she loves it. She actually falls asleep, actually, as she goes along.
That's nice to say, because an old 600 sideball, but it's got to have a side. That's one of the old plodders.
That's it.
And how many times have you done the coast to coast?
This is my fourth time.
The fourth time, same here too. That's the same for me. Well,
And it's the first time we've had rain in this 4 years, if I remember right.
that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Well, wish you a happy trip on the way
Yes,
to Weston.
okay.
Probably see you again.
Yes, we will.
Thanks,
Okay.
Brian. Thanks for your help
Thank
too.
you.
Well done.
Okay, thank you.
And not only British bikes here, here's the Britton family enjoying their lunch. Looks good, John. Well, we're going to have a chat now about one of my favourite bikes. I used to have one of these in civilian pattern, but these were used by the Army for many years, all through in World War II, the BSA M20. One of the most docile old sidewalls ever to be produced. And of course they went on in a 600 form to be very useful with the AA. Now here's a fellow here who I believe belongs to the Military Vehicle Trust. That is the group of collectors of military vehicles. And what's your view of the old M20?
Well, I came back into motorcycling when I turned 50 after a 30-year gap. Had a Bantam for 2 years, and then local chap who I met via the VMCC used to ride this to the club. Took an interest in the military machine. As you say, different. I was hardly likely to get up to any trouble with speed limits, or exceeding them, I should say.
That's true. When you see the sign slow on the
yeah.
road, you speed up, don't you?
So I saw it running for a year, knew the rallies it had been on. Well, I was just talking to the chap now, actually. He's on the rally today. And then when it came up for sale, I bought it. So I've had this for 2 years now.
Have you done this run before?
Yeah, did it last year.
Did last year.
Did it
Had a
last
good,
year.
trouble-free run, I hope.
And down at Weymouth with the military trust people last weekend, they had their military.
Yeah, you've got lots of entries.
procession down there.
Lots of interest in that particular type of thing with the old lorries. And
Well, I enjoy it,
it's
and
great fun.
if other people enjoy looking at
right.
the machine, that's fine.
Well, that's why we're talking to you today. And
Indeed.
well, there's no trouble to get an old thing like that from here to Weston. Where have you got to go back to?
Back to street. So
Back to street.
I'm
Well,
a
not
local,
too bad. a
Local,
run.
right.
Pretty local. Well,
Yes, yeah.
nice to chat to you, and thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, I'm going to have a chat with a very lucky fellow here who's on the run today, Andy, and he's riding a very interesting motorcycle. Is that right, Andy? The old Rudge?
Yes.
How many years have you had it?
I've had it since I was 15. I'm a little older than that now, Jerry.
You're creeping on very well now,
So,
yes. And
yes.
these bikes now, the Rudge, I mean, it was a famous make, wasn't it? The old saying that their advert was "Don't trudge it, rudge it," wasn't it?
Trudge it, rudge it.
And what
yes.
model is yours?
It's 4 valves, 4 speed. It's a 1938 Ulster.
Great stuff. Now, very expensive bike to buy now, and you paid how much for it?
£5.
That's not.
Should have been 7 shillings and 10 pence, but I didn't have the money. Or £7 and 10 pence rather. But I didn't
That's
have
not
the
bad. I think you did very well there. And how many times have you done this run then?
money. I've probably done it a couple of times before, but I haven't done it for a few years.
No,
It's
I
the
haven't
first
seen
one,
you on it
first one
before,
for a
but
while.
you're enjoying it today despite the drop of
Yes,
spit we were
yes
having down
indeed. Yes, it's excellent. I've been riding as a pair with my friends Rudge, and we've had a great run coming up.
They're both 500s, are they?
Both 500s.
So you keep in.
Yeah, the other one's a
pretty well.
37 model, just a year older, but it really looks the same.
Very much the same too. And,
Yes.
I didn't
But
know till
mine's-
today you were a motorcycle enthusiast, but you must have been for a long time to kept that.
Well, yes, I rode that on about 2 weeks after my 16th birthday. I rode it to school, and then I rode it every day until I was 23. So I can't complain.
And is that an original finish on there?
No, it's a minor modifications. It shouldn't have a dual seat, but you have to do a few things for comfort.
What about paintwork?
and predictability. It was last painted when I was 19 in about 67.
That's going back a little bit now,
So
but they're lovely
it's,
bikes, aren't they? The old Rudge.
yeah.
Pity they didn't make something like it now. Even the push bikes were somewhat to be proud of.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, wish you luck on the run then.
Okay,
Nice seeing you again,
thank you very
Andy.
much,
Anyway,
Jerry. All
bless
the
you.
best.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, now it's time to descend the very well-known landmark in our county, Cheddar Gorge. Twisty, steep and wet, something to be taken with great caution, but interesting. We wouldn't miss it. There have been opportunities in the past to bypass the gorge, but these motorcyclists said, no, we'll have a go at it. We have on other years, of course, gone up through the gorge, which I enjoyed very much when I had a motorcycle combination. But this year, we're taking it easy, coming down. Any stranger coming down this gorge can soon get caught out. These corners don't look too bad, but they tend to wrap up on you a bit as you come through, and for the motorcyclists, it's an interesting challenge, the gorge. Well, here we are. We've made it, Weston Super Mare. Still a few bikes rolling in, and absolutely thousands of people have turned out just to see the old bikes, most of them made in Great Britain. It's a wonderful sight, not only just to see them, but to hear them and smell them. And over here on the left, we got Tony Haywood, who organised this event with a little help from his friends. Had a busy time lately, Tony. What do you think of the day then?
Brilliant. Yeah, it's gone very well, I think, hasn't it?
I think so too.
You enjoyed it as a participant?
Well,
I
not
can say
half.
that properly now, yeah?
Not after. You and your family worked very hard throughout the whole year, I suppose, organising this.
Yeah,
for quite a long time.
we turned our front room into sort of like mission control over the past couple of weeks with boxes and stuff like that all over the place. But
What was the total entry, Tom?
total entry was 286.
286, that's pretty good. How
It's-
does that
it's
compare with
about,
other years?
It's about normal. The best we've had is 300, which was on the 10th. But,
Well, you can have too many, can't you, really?
yeah, I
Big-
think 300 is a nice number to bring along on a day like this.
I think it's marvellous. We were anticipating a wet day, so it wasn't a very good start down this line, was it?
No.
But, nobody was too disappointed, and it's come through, and now the sun is
No, I
shining.
think everybody was fearing the 1991 Aqua run again, but,
That was the time,
which
wasn't
was
it?
famous and still
Yeah.
is. Everybody still remembers that. Some people reckon they're still drying out from it. But
And I suppose, really, the truth of the matter is, Tom, you'd like to be riding, really.
as an entrant,
As an entrant,
yeah, I'd
yes.
like to ride the old Norton. You know, like my old Norton. I'd
The
love to
only
ride.
thing, if you rode your own Norton, you wouldn't hear t'others coming.
Well,
would you?
no,
I know that only
I
too
don't
well.
think I'd get very far either, would I, Jer?
I think the law would be there. Anyway, well done, Tom.
All right.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on a wonderful
lovely
show,
job.
and
Well,
look
I'm
forward
glad
to
you
seeing
all
you again
enjoyed
next
it.
year.
Yes,
wish
wish
to
me
see
here.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Tom.
Thanks, Jer.
Well, there's so many bikes here today, so many makes. We can't do them all, but we just got to do the best we can. The first one here, the attractive red tank, is an aerial. It's a post-war aerial. Aerials were a fine firm, making a good sound, solid machine. They didn't enter into the Grand Prix stuff with the TTs, etc. But ask Sammy Miller what they were like for trials. I mean, he's the world champions trials rider in his day. The famous name of aerial. And of course, everybody knows a Norton. That is a pre-war international Norton there, and what a fine machine. You want a lot of money to buy one of those nowadays. But that bike there, although it's got the old girder forks, believe me, the handling of that would be as good as any here on the field today. Now, Dusty Miller there, he's about to start off back to Minehead. He'd had a long ride down to Lyme Regis this morning. I know it won't start, but I'm sure. What's the forks like now, Dusty?
Oh, they're staying up,
They're staying up now.
As the actress
These
said to the-
post-war bellows fitted a Doughty pneumatic fork on the front, and they do give a little bit of problem leaking. But Veloset, a fine machine, and well, one of the best in its day. And I'm sure once Dusty got the forks right and got it started, he'll agree with me.
Oh, yes.
Now, we've already had a look at one M20 Army vehicle, motorcycle. We've got another one here, but this one's got the div signs. This is the interesting part of rebuilding military stuff. You've got the all the div signs, etc. to put down. You notice the number on the tank beginning with C. All Army motorcycles, World War II, had a C number on them. But there she is, that fine old sidewall, the BSA M20. Well, we can't go home until we've had a look at the oldest bike on the run. And back in 1922, Royal Enfields made this lovely machine. And now it's in the hands of Brian. How long have you possessed it, Brian?
Well, over 20 years
You've
now.
had it over 20 years.
Yes.
So what cc is this one?
965.
965. I built really for sidecar purposes, wasn't it?
Yes, it wasn't sold without a sidecar.
Was it not?
No.
Very unusual starting, the old wind-up style start on the side there too. Very
Yes.
unusual. But,
Needs a lot more effort with the handle than it would kick-starting.
well, that is true, yeah.
Yes.
And had a nice run with it today?
Yes, very good today.
It's cruising on. I mean, we were behind you some of the time, but you're keeping up. You're 40, 45 at places there.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've got no speed up.
Well, we can tell you that. I can assure you. The old B31 was plodding on behind you nicely. Yes, you were doing very well. And it's nice to see. Well, so you're looking forward to getting the prize for the oldest bike, I hope, now today, are you? Or do they?
I'm glad you said the oldest bike.
Because they do a combination of the oldest bike and rider, I think. But I mean,
Yeah,
a young
they
chap
do,
like
yeah.
you
Yeah,
don't
no,
stand a chance, do you, Brian?
No, I don't. It's got to be the oldest bike, hasn't it?
Anyway, many more years of happy motorcycling. Lovely to see the old Enfield here again today, and probably see you again next year.
Yeah, we hope so.
All right then, Brian.
Right. Thank
Well
you.
done. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I was talking just now about all the good old mainly British bikes, but they aren't all British. We've got a good German bike here, the BMW. BMW, of course, still manufacturing an excellent bike now. Not only is it a German bike, but it's come with a couple more all the way from Germany. Here, three lads here. 7 times they come across here, and I know why they come. They come because they get the prize for the furthest distance. Congratulations, lads, you've done another year. Have you enjoyed the run again?
Yeah. But we have not got a prize yet, so might be someone come from Scotland or somewhere far away than we did.
Well, then you'll have to live somewhere else and come further next year, won't you? I'm sure you'll work away. It's lovely to see you each year anyway, and nice to know you come over here and enjoy the motorcycling in this country. Is there much in the way of vintage motorcycling going on in Germany?
Yes.
You have many meets with old bicycles?
Yes, but I think the meeting in England are more interesting.
Yeah.
More enthusiastic.
Probably a bigger variety going
Yeah.
on. Yeah. Well, anyway, you're always welcome, you know that, and it's lovely to see you, and thanks for helping the weather out today. We thought you'd let us down this morning, but spirits were not dampened, were they? We got there all the way. And you had a trouble-free run all the way up?
Yeah, minor work.
You overtook me a couple of times anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway.
shut up. Nothing. only minor repairs.
Anyway, thanks, lads. Lovely chatting to you once again.
Okay, a lot.
Right, it's been great fun meeting all the old colleagues, old friends and bikers today, but not only bikers, we got bikeresses. Now then, Sandy, how far have you come to take part in this run today?
From Swindon.
From Swindon? Did you
Yeah.
ride all the way down the line?
Yeah, we rode down last night and stayed overnight.
Yeah, how long have you been interested in bikes then?
Years.
Years.
Years and years, yeah.
And this is a beautiful little machine.
Yeah,
The Ariel.
this isn't an ordinary leader actually, it's a special, so it's
What's special about it?
It's got a Honda engine, so a lot of people don't like it.
We don't say things like that, but of course the Ariel leader.
Yeah, I do
was,
ride a normal leader as well, I must
Yeah,
admit.
but that was a very modern machine that came out.
At the time,
we
yeah.
British people didn't like it. It was too much like change, and we drop out on progress, and I think that's it.
Right,
But
yeah.
thankfully, people like yourself still keep
Yeah.
riding. You had a nice day with it.
Very
no doubt.
nice, yeah.
And you
very
do
good.
many runs?
We haven't done many this year, but normally we do quite a few, yeah. We're going to the aerial rally in Kent next month.
Yeah, you say we. The
My
old man
husband
does
as
the
well,
same.
yeah, he's on the arrow there.
Oh, well, that's a nice
Yeah.
leader and arrow, nice pigeon pair
That's
there.
it,
isn't it?
yeah.
That's all. You got to ride back to Swindon now, haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. We're going to
fair.
have a meal on the way home now.
Well, I hope so too. Sandy's lovely to meet, lovely to chat to you, and many miles more, I hope.
Oh yes, we'll be here again next year, I'm sure.
I'm sure of it too. Yeah, bring some more fine weather.
Yeah, let's
Thanks,
hope it
Sandy.
stays that way. Thank you.
Well, this is where I get a bit of time to myself now and enjoy doing what I really do love to do, and that is to wander around and gaze at the bits and pieces we've got here on these old bikes. You know, you won't find two the same, because everybody that's owned the bike for a long time has put their own little necessity on there and customized them to a certain degree. What a fine display there is here to look at. 280 odd in all, and if there isn't a bike here to please any enthusiast, well, I just don't know where he came from. It's been a wonderful day. The weather turned out to be very favourable. And there's enthusiasts here, young and old, and you can bet your life that some of these older people are looking around and remembering the day when they saw these bikes new in the showrooms. And yearn to be able to go and put a deposit down on one, even though they were not much over £100 to buy. No matter what bike you own, I love the bike I've got, but you always go around and admire others. And of course, on the left there's a Honda with that twin bike there. Even the Japanese bikes have been over here long enough now to be regarded as classics. You can see out on the road there that several of the riders now wending their way home. They've had a good day, I'm sure. Can't think of any reason why everyone taking part haven't enjoyed themselves. I certainly did. It was great being on the road with such a bunch of enthusiasts. And here's the famous Velocette about to fire up now and set off for its homeward journey. How far? I don't know. Some of these riders have got another 50, 60, probably further miles to go, even after the run's been completed. And the youngsters there showing their enthusiasm. It's going to be a few years yet, son, before you can handle that old BSA combination. Well, what a great day it's been. I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed watching it and being on the road with us. But all those motorcyclists, those enthusiasts and the people around have done a great thing for charity today, because Headway is the concern that they have raised a lot of money for. That's for head injuries involved in accidents. And
a lot of money has gone to that cause through this run. So what better way to spend a day than enjoying yourselves and at the same time doing somebody a favour. So it's farewell from all of us now, and we'll meet you again on the road sometime.